down to this for either the team. Ban's already coming out to, you know, there's going to be a certain form of respect here, obviously. And, you know, as much as people were hoping, man, we'd love to see Aizen play the Trizla, not going to happen. But he still has a lot of heroes under his belt that he actually plays very similarly. He just has to be able to pull it off, right? If they opted once again to lock in the Edith, never mind. There's the respect. That's what I'm talking. Lock in the Edith, never mind. Focus on Aizen, right? That's the game plan for Indonesia right now, anyway, because he was again a key component to that Game 1 win.
Yeah, good call there for the respect ban. Actually, that's becoming a problem now, especially we have this mage burst damage here that actually just be in front of the back line. And it's just a problem for you to actually answer. Either you respond with a team fight or you answer with a defensive counter. Because at some points, you don't want the knock-up coming from Aizen as well, because at some points we know them as they know how to make a way of having an ambush, having an element of surprise at most of the time that things might fall into the wrong place. So this time around, yeah, they ban out the Eve.
Good choice.
Good choice as well.
But I think it still leaves the table, right? Depending on what these last two bans are, in total, at least for the first phase, I think you can actually still see Fredrin being picked up, unless it's taken out, right? Priority it on the blue side, kind of go with that. But now that the Eve's taken out, what we've seen from this OSX is usually when Eve is banned out, teams will still opt for that Valentina Novaria. If they don't actually want to take both, you know, it's better. Just prioritize that Novaria. The vision is almost too good. The poke is too good.
Yeah, speaking of poke, yeah, they will want to have another respect ban here, the Faramis. In game number 1, they were so tanky, they were so into a cooldown reduction for this hero that they could completely spam the hell out of the lanes, and especially having a composition that can shine into the late game, they don't want it to happen once again. So good ban on the Paquito, though, because we've seen also Indonesia utilize the Paquito yesterday, and no, it was up against Brazil. So having this heroes with so much flexibility is a bit of a great way of an advantage of having a -1 on their first pick. This time around,
yeah,
you might see our staple picks here for the first part.
Probably Fredrin, unless something surprising happens, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, it's probably one of the safest things you can do. There it is. Fredrin's going to be locked in. Still, even with that said, you have that flexibility, right? Do they want to go ahead and put it in the XP lane, or where it usually goes, put it in the jungle, focus on those objectives? You know, really at this point, when it comes down to this best of one, essentially, your main game plan would be like, how do we get to this point where we focus on these objectives, we lock those in our most comfortable way possible? And usually that is these utility junglers, right? Because we always talked about, especially yesterday and on day 1 in the playoffs, where we saw some of these assassin junglers really prioritize in a way, right, for the jungle. It's always risky in a way. So it's like, do you want to actually play with a sense of risk, that high risk, high reward type gameplay? Mongolia could be known to do that, right? We've seen ZXORA do that himself, but there it is, another pick. The Novaria, of course, no surprise there. Baksha, for the most part, is either banned out or it's picked up. This is also a great choice for Mongolia.
This is a great utility, team fight-wise and also objective taken against a Fredrin. This is one way of securing of an answer for pokes, even for taunts, if you're up against a Fredrin. Having a great counter, even having a great sustain early on with the pokes from the mid lane. Oh, speaking of mid lane, right away, yeah, Kadita gets loose. And this time around, Kaja with Indonesia, great strong picks on the first phase.
It's a bit scary, right? When you see that Kadita across from you, you know exactly what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Part. Not only that, but then you pair it up with the fact that they also locked in a Kaja.
They have pick off from the back line. This was the problem, or this was the struggle from game number 1. How will you reach the back line? How will you reach the marksman of the other team? Well, this time around, you have burst invulnerability with the rough waves even by just diving through. You burst down 1, you pick off 1. If you pair it with a good marksman again for Indonesia, well, that is just completely damaged for a complete composition that they can throw against Mongolia.
All right, Brody locked in here. Once again, Mongolia opting for this in the gold lane. Good choice, right? But for the most part, here's where it gets a little dicey. You have to watch out, like you mentioned, this Kaja is going to be going right for you. Whether it's him actually or even the Novaria, but for the most part, it's a lot easier to get to the Brody, right? So not only Kaja, with Divine Judgment, but the burst from the Rough Waves combination with the Petrify. So how do you safeguard this Brody pick, right? Yeah, you've got distance.
Yeah.
You've got distance to work with, man, but at the same time, you still need to have, I would say, an additional tankier version of your XP lane, and I think that's what you want to go for, right? Because not only that, but you don't want to just rely completely on the Baksha, right? Have one of these options for that XP lane, and so far it's kind of slim pickings for the most part, right? A lot of these top hero picks that are placed in the XP lane have been banned out. So we'll see what ends up falling in the hands of IESF for this one.
Speaking of backline ambush, good ban on the Yuzong. Mostly at times we see Brody from the back and having a front line to just protect him most of the times in the early game. And also, since we're talking about counters and tanks, there's no hero yet for Ethan, because either way, this Novaria could still actually flex either mid or Erome, but this time around they're just securing the potential of not having a Franco on the other side.
Yeah, I think that's safe, right? Take out the Franco, take out some of these heroes that obviously can change the course of these early skirmishes, because right now the game plan for Indonesia is like, let us, as soon as we have level 4, man, we should be getting a kill as soon as possible every single time one of those ultimates is available, if not both, right? So you kind of have to build up around that. Last ban, though, here is going to be the Beatrix. Both teams want to be able to also scale up in the gold lane as easily as possible. And for Indonesia, they know that they have a Brody across from them. Do we possibly see them go for Melissa again based on the previous game's performance? They could, right? But still, essentially, if you're Mongolia, how do you round this out? Kufra is taken out for that roam option as well.
Okay, they're pushing this Novaria just in the mid, completely having her just there. Either she will be forced to respond, or either she finds a vision or even a recon for the team. Because right now, they ban out the Kufra, they ban out the Franco. What's left now for Mongolia is actually a tank to complement this Brody. Either they go in for actually a Grok. Even we kind of also need to consider one thing that they used during the playoff stage. Because if we're looking at the stats of Mongolia, they also use the Lolita.
Yeah.
So they might have a way to actually make this Novaria flexible by even using it. One thing also, yeah, this is a real Arlott.
That's the actual Arlott, right? Back in the day one where we continuously saw Arlott's frame for the Novaria pick. But yeah, we saw him before, even played in the roam, so this can still work. Now, I'm wondering too, marksman pick here for Indonesia. Melissa, maybe carry off the top of my head, depending too, once again, like if Mongolia goes for that tankier XP lane, they're going to kind of want one of these marksmen that shreds down tanks, and since the carry isn't taken out, that is an option for them, right? You can at least shred through some of those health bars the best you can and work with the space that you have, right? Part of this too is still coming down to, yeah, once the pickoff potential is gone, and if you don't manage to get a numbers advantage, that's where things kind of fall off. So you need to be able to provide yourself with enough of that damage. There's the carry. Oh, man. It was a whole curveball. The Fredrin is going in the XP lane, and then you've got the Fanny in the jungle.
Wow. Nothing to lose. Go all in. Go all out. I love it. Fanny, carry. We have Kajen as well as the Kadita. Complete damage from magic, burst, pick off, and great coverage around the map. A good pick though, even on the last phase. Mongolia possibly never saw that coming.
She's gonna go out in style.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Go big or go home.
Might as well. It comes down to it. The best of one, a couple seconds away, we'll figure out exactly what Mongolia wants to do to round this draft out. We're assuming, right, the Arlott in the roam here.
Prepare for the return of awesome.
Okay.
Whoa. Okay.
Actually, it's a roam. Right now, it's a roam Makai. It's Aizen in the XP lane with the Arlott. Interesting. Something that we quite haven't seen too much of. We have in the past. But still, ultimately, how do you feel about this? Akai as a roam.
For me, it works if Akai is in the jungle. For me, for objective takes, you have this way of utilizing the heavy spin, pushing somebody away just in case somebody gets close to you and getting the objective. But one thing I'm concerned is How will they make the damage work now early game, knowing that this is a Brody and also a Novaria? They have their windows, they have their moments on where to actually activate, but this gives pressure to the tank as well. But for the side of, for Indonesia rather, all tools for ganking early game could actually be utilized. Either they slow down the momentum of Mongolia's composition, or even just have a way of funneling through a kill for the Fanny. Now this is a big of a problem though, having a greater coverage all around the map. The game changer pick Fanny. We've seen great Fanny plays from Egypt, now from Indonesia. Man, this time around, on the last possible match, this is a great video showing strength.
And anytime you pick up that Fanny, remember before we even got to the draft and we saw how that kind of came to play was, do you want to risk it? Like, is that the risk and the high reward that you're looking for? The high reward is staying in the tournament, you know, so that's what they're going for.
Risk it all and see.
Risk it all, you might as well, right? This is complete comfort though. As we know, a lot of Indonesian teams love this pick too. They love to go with that Fanny. They love to take, if they can get that early snowball going.
A lot of great players of Fanny in Indonesia.
Well, let's find out.
Now it's complete match point. It's Indonesia versus Mongolia. Who is going to go big and who's going to go home? Who is going to proceed to the challenge and possibly climb up the grand finals? Let's find out.
We'll find out if they're able to make it there. It's one step in the right direction with either of these teams that makes it through. They've got their work cut out for them to get to that slot later in the grand finals. But now you can see the pressure from both of these teams right in the jungle. Look at that. Vin taking a couple shots too up in the jungle. Has the flicker already this early on. Zix already going. This is bad for Vin. He tries to get away. A couple shots in there. So first blood going to the hands of Aizen of all people. Super Ken and Moreno, they might be able to get a response, and it's a 1-for-1. Ethan will fall, so it's the roamer for the roamer, and the kill's going in the hands there of that one. Super Ken still going, he's level 4. He's looking for that snowball here, man.
This is the force. This is actually the force out of resource department of Indonesia right now. By not hitting even the minute and 10, Super Ken is already on level 4 compared to the members of Mongolia, having the advantage even by just utilizing the passive of the air superiority. That's an equivalent for a true damage that he can use from the early game. At this point in time, they're utilizing the vision that Kaji is doing, that Vin is doing, such as now.
Okay, he doesn't want him in his jungle here. He says no. Super Ken still on the hunt, but ZXO are going to roll on out of here. A lot of this covering fire from both junglers, right? You need your team to pretty much be there for you. Now, biggest thing, again, that Mongolia has to be careful for is in those exchanges that we're seeing in these first 2 minutes is once Vin is level 4 and Moreno, you have to now respect the fact that you will most likely get picked off. Either you're going to get Divine Judgment into the rough waves or just one or the other. And that is something crucial as we get through this early to mid-game transition. First turtle of the game is up. Both junglers trying to get us situated here. Super Ken needs that purple buff to compete. Half health. Aizen trying to get in place as well. Vin going to get pushed back. Aizen now making his way there. Super Ken going to get final slashed away. ZXORA will claim the first turtle here. And once again, Vin has to flicker on the defensive. Chorizo out by himself. He's going to get chased down. Aizen on the hunt. Flickers to safety.
The retribution was a off-cam kill onto Moreno there. And looking back what happened in the first objective take, the retribution was ready for Super Ken. But one thing that was a bit of a problem, there is the CC. The slow of Zora, you have the catch from Ethan, you have the go, you have a way of using the heavy spin as well as Aizen's final slash. At that point, he was also considering of not being taken down. Having the respect right down the early game is actually a way for this Fanny to actually work wonders approaching mid-game. So they're keeping tabs on who to target next time. But as of now, CC and even control, suppress from Mongolia is so strong, going all over a map such as this. Vindo might get pinned down in by 4. Yeah, closing into defenses.
This is looking dicey. Vin gonna be caught under the turret. What can you do in that situation? Man, that is tough. Another pickup here, Mongolia asserting the dominance in this bottom lane for Bebex. That's what they need. That's what they want to do. It looks like even Moreno is making his way, trying to get that rough wave combination down. He's going to get stunned. This is troublesome. He'll fall too. Going to the hands of Bebex here on that Brody.
Wow, Blade of Heptasis present now for Brody, having the staple damage and amount of ambush passive for this one gives him a bit of a push for damage and poke against the scary that might shine in the mid to late game. This time around, with 2 deaths of Vin, this is a window for even for the Rome of Mongolia to actually keep on taking an A to go lane. Wait, Super
nice
Ken.
sidestep there. Sakin not getting connected with the Astral Recall, but Ethan's still on the hunt. He goes in with a flicker, looking for the heavy spin. Doesn't have it just yet. Now it's online here. He's utilizing it now, locking down 2, able to find them. Sakin will fall, and he gets out of dodge. ZXORA went down as well. Forbid going to be in trouble. The response from Indonesia comes through.
Wow. The pull onto Cizora. From that point, they were looking for chances to take that one, and that was the jungler of Mongolia. From that point, this is the threat now of the composition of Indonesia. Looking at this Fanny and even for this Kadata, a lot of ways to reinforce quickly, but now Turtle is up, and now we have greater vision for Mongolia to take this one, but Cerezo is still present though.
Super Ken making his way as well. Turtle goes in, tries to get in time. ZXORA going to be able to claim it. Final Slash will not find the target, but they get the objective here, furthering that gold lead that they're working with 5 minutes into the game. It's going to translate into some of this good scaling here for Mongolia. So if you're Indonesia, you've got to be able to stop that. Use the pick-off potential you have. Let's take a look at the items here.
2 steel leg plates present for Cizora and Ethan. A lot of ways to soak up damage and be into team fights and even pin down. Look at that, Cerezo. Accepting the heavy spin. Bebek's trying to take this turret down. Cerezo's trying to hold on, but there's waves coming in. They might want to let go of this first turret down. Yes, Bebek takes the defense down by for Indonesia.
Okay, trading across the map here for the tier 1s. Both of those going down. See the teams really working for the space, right? But still maintaining that little bit of gold lead they have. Mongolia holding on. So, Indonesia, what do they got to do, right? Pick-off potential is going to be there. They have to utilize it. Okay. Super Ken, that is tough right there. Okay. He's still going to go back in here. Gets a little bit low, has to get out of dodge. Meanwhile, the rest of the team trying to hold down the mid lane. Rough Wave's going to be used as well, clearing that out. And all this, once again, a back and forth between these two Titans.
This time around, the threat of having a rotation from Ethan Bebek's and also Forbid is this a trap, a walking, revolving trap for a Fanny. From that point, he has a standing at 300. Having to maintain this kind of KDA would actually be beneficial for damage while waiting for Saken to have the items online. Having the Petrify present for this carry, it could be a great way of escaping this, but how could this be?
Once again, Ethan finding Saken. They're going to force him back with a heavy spin. Will trying to get the lockdown, won't be able to get it, has to defensively flicker himself. Now the response, still, they pay for it. Bebex goes down. Take a breather. Already started to, as we jump back in here. You see it, Bebex was taken out. We'll see what the response is, right? Third turtle of the game, now spawning. ZXORA getting a position, knows that it might be better. Super Ken actually just decides he's going to make his way there. Doesn't want the purple, tries to go in, gets it with the retribution, cleanly swoops in, takes the objective without even the purple buff. Now he's like, all right, now I'll get the buff. But look at this, ZXORA is like, no, you're not going to do that. You're not going to go ahead and just swoop in, get the turtle here, and go in. Eisen going to flicker in, misses the final slash though. Are they still going to commit to this? Ethan goes in, there's the rough wave. ZXORA could be in trouble. No follow-up damage just yet. They're waiting for Super Ken to go in, gets it with the cutthroat. He's unstoppable for now.
Indonesia with the counter punch. Looking at the chance that Eisen lost the chance of having that combo with the final slash and the flicker, it was go time. You were calling it there from that moment. Are they gonna commit? Having the advantage in damage and defense and catch, that was the moment. Look at that flicker.
A flicker for a flicker. They're gonna poke down with the Astral Recall. The heavy spin though, he just gets knocked up, spinning in the air. Won't be able to do anything with that. Falls there in the mid lane. Indonesia once again finding their own moment. Super Ken worked on that tier 1, got it down. Now IESF here on the orange buff of ZXORA, waiting patiently. They've got the information they need. Forbid and Bebex here as well. 3 versus 1. He spotted out. The cutthroat goes through. Did he get it? He takes a couple hits, but he gets out just cleanly. It looks like he did steal that away from ZXORA.
Orange stolen from Cizora. Now looking for chances to get out of a trade all across the map, because as we're seeing, waves are pushing in from top to bottom. Another orange for Super Ken.
He's got all the buffs.
Talking about damage of 5-0-0. Wow, this Fanny on a level 12, a 2-level gap XP against Zora. Yes, they have the defense now, but in terms of damage and burst, Moreno's probably building up the second and third item, and that is going to be deadly with the lethal ignition. But onto the positioning, Mongolia is looking something for a trader. How will they follow up at this point? Because there's still defenses left from mid to bottom. We have the first tier turret from the bottom side, but Super Kenny is trying to get coverage more on the push. Same thing goes for Cesaro. You have Antiqua's for defense, and looking back on the chances here to get more items for Bebex, they really would want to have this Lord.
Okay, half health here. Super Ken waiting patiently for the right moment. They already get a flicker out too. Wiseman could be in trouble. Heavy spin, pushing them back the best he can, but takes quite a bit of damage. Is this where they want to be? Super Ken gonna go for it. CXOR is able to secure the Lord, and now the response comes through. Bebex picks up a kill. One for Indonesia fall here. And Mongolia picks up a big Lord for them.
Yeah, and just as that, the Lord responds up top. Bebex gets his own additional economy. Aizen!
Wow.
Drop down, Super Ken secures the kill, still defending the first tier turret in mid.
So they got to do something about Super Ken. Yeah, they got the Lord there, but he's 6-0-0, right? He is massive. Yeah, he's super, literally at this point on this Fanny. And they're going to have to defend, right? They still got to take care of this Lord. It should be made quick work of. Sakin as well has relatively farmed up pretty good on this carry. They'll just have to give up some of these tier 2 turrets as they do. Super Ken though, wow, Bebex with the wind champ has that. Good thing he had the Wind of Nature there. If he didn't, that would have been close. Crucial. Vin goes in with the flicker. The Divine Judgment too. Ethan there though to help him out. Good thing. A lot of this back and forth, push and pull from both the teams.
Wow, that was so close for Bebex there. You don't want to get isolated from your team at this point in time. Super Ken has no deaths. And also looking back on the burst potential of Moreno right now, building up the Genius 1, Clock of Destiny, enhancing the attributes, reducing the magic defense. But this time around, we're looking at the defensive side of Mongolia. They have the dominance ice. Athena's shield for Aizen, though, there's one item beneficial for team fights, but that's just one. How will they answer for the damage and true damage of the lineup now of Indonesia's doing? But as of this point, they're looking to clear more of the waves because there's some turrets left for Mongolia to be taken as of this time.
Conceal play going to come through. Vin looking for the Divine Judgment on the right target. Final Slash going to come through as well. Heavy spin, not going to be used just yet. They're happy with a kill. Easy pickings here. Mongolia, Super Ken, patiently waiting. Who's his mark? Not going to be able to find it. Right, Bebex there. Astral Recall going to come down. Heavy spin utilized as well, but ultimately nothing of it other than Vin going down. Now eyes set on the tier 2. Mongolia looking for more space to work with. Super Ken going to come in. Look at that Final Slash. Able to find the mark. Perfect target there as he falls. Bebex with the torn apart memory. Cleaning up house. And there you go. Mongolia in a position to press it even further. 30 seconds away from the Lord. They want to get this turret down before they transition.
The shutdown on to Super Ken, a beneficial pickoff from Mongolia, giving them a chance. Oh, got pulled in the turret. There's Zora.
Vin gonna go in. That's the Rough Waves too. Perfect target. The jungler is gone for Mongolia. Now making it even harder. He'll be up here in a bit, but 10 seconds before the Lord comes out. Look at the replay here. This is a simple just maneuver that changes the course of this part of the game. Divine Judgment with the flicker, slowing down this Lord take. Now they have the advantage. They have to wait. Mongolia has to wait for ZXOR to come through. There's the heavy spin. Vin could be in trouble here. He finally falls. Bebex once again from the end, working his way. Lord now, a third of the health, in trouble. Petrify comes through. Aizen will fall here. Bebex already using the Wind of Nature. Super Ken comes in, cleans up, finds his mark. It's a double. And now Lord for the taking. What can Mongolia do? 2 members left alive here. They might have some vision. They might have some poke. ZXOR, does he have the retribution in him?
Oh, Moreno on half HP, taking the responsibility out of Sorizo, even for Sakin. Just looking to zone out members here of Mongolia, looking at the Rough Waves, trying to peel them off. Securely, Indonesia gets the objective.
Man, oh man, what an exchange between 2 teams fighting for their lives here in the tournament. And with that, they secure themselves the Lord here for Indonesia. After some smart decisions, especially from Vin, able to slow down some of that Lord take, possibly from Mongolia. Now they get to play around this as the Lord makes its way top side. Which take is going to happen first? Again, Vin now has the flicker available. They're actually going to give this a go. Chorizo, was he right? The right target. Aizen doesn't have the final slash anymore.
Okay. 2 ultimates burned down, Aizen and Forbid. Well, on the pokes, Forbid might come earlier again for the respawn, but this time around, Indonesia's capitalizing on the push up top with the Lord.
Here we go.
Here's the attention.
Vin, he's going to flicker in, finding another target here, but the heavy spin defensively to stay alive. That could have been a disaster for Mongolia. They hold on a little bit longer, though. And that's where we are here, OSX. At this point in the game, almost 15 minutes in, it's going to be like that. Every time that Divine Judgment, the rough waves are available, Mongolia has to watch out.
That makes this combination so deadly. Moreno and even Vin. Let's check up how the lethal burst would actually work. Look at that. Genius Wand, Divine Glaive, even Clock of Destiny present now. That could actually be proc for extra burn magic damage for this Kadita. Once that pickoff is happening from Vin's Divine Judgment, it's a complete follow-up of a pickoff or even a team fight that can be initiated from a side of Mongolia. So looking at the way of the defensive here, we're looking at 3 Athena shields present for Mongolia. Still the right amount of tools to sustain. Probably they want to outplay or even outlast that damage once they commit, once Indonesia's skill set has been committed in those kinds of pickoffs.
Yeah, what's scary with the pickoffs too is if they just get Bebex's Wind of Nature down and he pops that wind chant early, that is already a huge threat, right? Because then again, how do you keep Bebex alive here with Super Ken just pretty much unleashing towards that back line, and also the rough waves, right? This is also a big item pickup here to allow Vin to continue to do those Divine Judgment plays even sooner now. So back to it. At this point, 30 seconds, nearly 30 seconds away from this Lord up here. Mongolia's want to get in position. Indonesia wants to get a numbers advantage if they can.
And Tiki Ras now present for Aizen, lessening the damage, absorbing more and deflecting more against the damage that they can get from Indonesia. From now, they could either see, or they could actually see a possible pickoff here. Because as Zora's slow is actually effective with paired with the heavy spin with the Sakai, a lot of things had happened, but if they lose the right pickoff, right from Indonesia's composition, that's where the loss of a setup comes to show. They need to make the right targets. They need to make the right choice here. Look at that. Vin has been spotted, though.
Oh,
committing the ultimate.
Aizen using the final slash again. Was that the right target? Look at this. Super Ken, too, putting pressure where he wants to. Allowing just Mongolia to go ahead and start up that Lord. He knows he can make his way there quickly. Look at the positioning here from Indonesia. They're looking to make a play with that conceal once it's available, once they decide it's time. So
Look
it's up to Mongolia.
Moreno is just as being patient, not being discovered. Even the positioning now of Mongolia, rotating quickly and covering their lanes as well. Lord on half HP. Super Ken
they
does
go in.
Near.
They're going to be able to find Chorizo. He falls. Vin could be in trouble too. Look at the damage already, though. There's the rough waves coming through for them. 2 fall here from Mongolia. Do they have a response? Lord's going to go ahead and reset. ZXora on the run. Super Ken will hunt him down. Looking for it. He still has the immortality. It's not worth it, he says. And again, we're back to it. Both teams having 3 for 3 here for that Lord. And we are at a reset.
That was a good pull. Zora having the attention of Super Ken right onto his purple gave so much way for that objective to be reset. Completely having a chance to recall and recover back in their own base. Now Indonesia, Aizen now sees on, taking down Moreno.
Yeah, but look at the rough waves out, though. It was going to be a 1-for-1. Now the team comes through. Saka could be in trouble. Here comes Super Ken again. Finds Forbid. Still going to be looking for more. Beyblading all over ZXora. Immortality will be popped. And now he's looking for the kill, but the team has come to help out. He has to back out. That could have been way worse here for Mongolia.
That was so close. The damage and peel right now, Super Ken is off the roof. puts Zora back to the base. No ultimate available. Retribution on 6 seconds, but this is the window of this Fanny right now to just clear. But look at this. We're looking at Cerezo just poking on the Lord, looking for a chance to pull in members of Mongolia. But by looking at the control, Indonesia's all over the place. Here comes the showdown once again on Aizen.
The 1-for-1 here. He already got the final slash out. Meanwhile, Lord's going to be pulled here for Indonesia. Sakin working on it. They're trying to keep ZXOR at bay. This is the macro play here from both teams, right? Pushing the side lanes, putting pressure up there, forcing a response from Mongolia. What do they do? Where do they put their attention? Now the Lord here, less than half health. Will it go for a reset? They're kind of waiting this a little bit longer. Super Ken now going to make his way. Sliver of a health. Oh, he gets it! Goes in, just sweeps in, get the retribution off. Still gonna be going there. Look at the rough wave damage coming through. Bebek's in trouble. Win champ, but he gets knocked up, and it's a disaster from Mongolia in the fight. Not only the Lord for Indonesia, but 2 kills on top of it.
They get the objective. They get a pick of that. Zora and Bebek's falling down. No damage for almost 36 seconds. This is an advantage now, Indonesia, to push forward in the base with all members present, completely taken out. The turrets of Mongolia right now, no damage, no extra slow. It's Ethan, Aizen, and Forbid, the only ones left to defend. But this is just closing the map, making the map look at a burst again.
Trying to buy time. Aizen going to take the brunt of the damage. He will fall into the turret. Super Ken goes into the base. He does not care about the turret. Lord's still going to be up here. Multiple members down for Mongolia, and it looks like Indonesia wants to end it here. They want to keep going. They want to defend their title, and they'll do it. Sending Mongolia out, and they stay alive.